Welcome back. So now we are all set. We have the control file, we have the load file, we have the table in place in the database. Now let's run the SQL loader. So the command to invoke the SQL loader is SQL LDR username password at the then the connect string. What is the control file? This is a control file. And what is the log? The track log will give you the details while it is running, how many records are loaded, how many are discarded. Those information is going to be created on the log file. So let's run this now in the Unix box. So Unix box will then connect to the autonomous database and load this data into the table, students table. That is our expectation. So let's see what happens. So fingers crossed. It's so fast. So it gives you 3 rows successfully loaded. So now we will see probably the log file and see what is there. I think I lost the connection. ls minus l. Okay, ls minus l. Okay, here is the log file is created. Track log. If you look at the track log, you'll see 3 rows. Gives the column name and gives 3 rows successfully loaded, 0 rows not loaded due to data error. If there is a data error, maybe we had defined the name somewhere something like varchar of 20. Suppose the incoming data is something like 40, naturally it will not be able to load that data, so naturally it will give one error. So is that in that case, yeah, it will count, there will be a count which said rejected or discarded. That count will go up. Now let's get into the SQL, that is into the autonomous database, and see whether the data is loaded as well. So SQL plus select star from student. Yeah, data is there, roll number, name, Krishna. So this is a simple exercise wherein we had used the data file to load data into the table. One more thing is, suppose if the data is already there are so many other things as well. So this is just to understand how the SQL loader will work. But if you want to have the existing with the existing data, you want to add something, then instead of the command like insert, you need to have it as in file. Instead of that, you have it as append. And if you, in some cases, you can have the data in the CTL file itself. Yeah, instead of specifying the in file, you make it asterisk and give the data as well. There are, but generally people don't use to provide the data in the control file itself. It is highly unlikely. They don't provide it in the CTL file, but they will be providing the data in the separate flat file. And in our case, we had the flat file or the data file inside in the same folder, so you're not specifying the path. If there is a different path, you need to specify the full path as well. So those are the things you need to take care. And yeah, you can go to the Oracle documentation itself to find out the other details, because once you have an understanding of the SQL loader, how it works, then depending on each and every project, there are going to be variations. So as a developer, as a consultant, yes, you need to tweak the code, you need to make an understanding how it works, And again, in this case, we manually did the SQL loader command run on the command line. But then if you want to automate it, maybe say every hour it needs to be run, the solution is you need to have a cron job, cron tab. So that you need to have, so define the, I'm not going into the details, but you need to have it as a cron job. You need to define the cron tab and give all the details. So in that case, once you schedule the job at a specified time, then it will get executed. Yeah, it needs to be man cron tab, so it will give the details. Maintain individual user. Cron tab is installed, removes existing table, serves. So this is for the scheduling. Scheduling the sense at a certain point of time, you want that specific shell scripts to be run. So in that case, you will use the cron tab, cron command, so that it automatically picks up the control file and loads the data. So that's about the SQL loader, how to load it. So if at all, as I said, in the projects there might be variations. So in that case, you can refer to the documentation of Oracle and then work on it. And this is just for information. So I just pulled out the document of the SQL loader. You can go through the, so there are, as I said, in the projects there are going to be variations. So but once you have the fundamental understanding correct, then you can work through, you can tweak the code, based on the requirements. You can tweak the code and then have the data uploaded into the tables. So thank you. Stay tuned.